Welcome to day 38 of our school year. 2 more to fill in this row. It's 2 away from 40. All right, let's get our beginning fraction down. 180 is our denominator because that's the total amount of school days. And we are on day 38. Okay, let's go ahead and find the factors of our numerator, which is 38. 2 factors we always know are 1 and the number itself. Using the commutative property of multiplication, 38 times 1. Now we're going to go through our divisibility rules in an orderly fashion. After 1, we try 2, because that's in order. The rule for 2 is that it ends in an even number. 8 is even, so 2 is a factor. 2 times 19. 19 times 2. Okay, next we try 3. The rule for 3 is that we add the digits together. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 is not a multiple of 3, so 3 is not a factor. We try 4. One rule for 4 is that you check the second factor with 2. If it's even, 4 is a factor. If it's odd, 4 is not. It is odd, so 4 is not a factor. And also, 4 times 9 is 36, and then 40. 38 would not be in that list of multiples of 4. We try 5. The rule for 5 is that it ends in a 0 or 5. It ends in an 8, so 5 is not a factor. We try 6. The rule for 6 is that both 2 and 3 work as factors. 2 is a factor, but 3 is not, so 6 is not a factor. We try 7. We just list the factors for 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. 38 is not in that list, so 7 is not a factor. We try 8. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. 38 is not in that list, so 8 is not a factor. The rule for 9 is the same as 3. We add the digits together and get 11. 11 is not a multiple of 9, so 9 is not a factor. We try 10. The rule for 10 is that it ends in a 0. It ends in an 8, so 10 is not a factor. We try 11. 11, 22, 33, 44. 38 is not in that list, so 11 is not a factor. I'm going to see if my second factor with 2 is prime, because if that is prime, then we're done. It won't break down into any more factors. So let's see. Yes, 19 is prime. Since our second factor is prime and we've gone in order, we're done. So our factors are from least to greatest: 1, 2, 19, 38. So we have 4 factors. That is more than 2 factors. So that is composite. And out of these, we need to find our greatest common factor. So let's start with our greatest factor of 38. See if that works. If it doesn't, then we'll go on to the next one. Now your groups of 38 do not have to look like mine, but they need to have 38 in each, and the shaded needs to be separated from the unshaded. So I have 2 plus 30 is 32, plus 6 is 38. 4 plus 30 is 34, plus 4 is 38. 6 plus 30 is 36, plus 2 is 38. And I'm left with 28. So that means 38 is not a factor. Because I have a remainder. Cross that out. Let's try 19. Remember, your groups do not have to look like mine. but they do have to have 19 in each, and we need to keep the shaded separated from the unshaded. So 2 plus 10 is 12, plus 7 is 19, 3 plus 10 is 13, plus 6 is 19, 4 plus 10 is 14, plus 5 is 19, 5 plus 10 is 15, plus 4 is 19, 6 plus 10 is 16, plus 3 is 19, 7 plus 10 is 17, plus 2 is 19, 8 plus 10 is 18, plus 1 is 19, and I'm left with 9. I have a remainder of 9, so that means 19 is not a factor. Okay, let's try groups of 2. Groups of 2. It does not matter what your groups of 2 look like. They do not have to look like mine, but you need to have 2 in each group. You need to keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. Two worked. So 2 is our greatest common factor. We found it. Now, the way I made my groups of 2, I ended up with 5 in each row. So I can count by 5s to find my total amount of groups of 2. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. Now the amount shaded in, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so 19/90ths, we're going to prove it in a separate way. We did our division with our model by dividing it into groups of 2. Now we're going to do it with our algorithm. So 180 divided by 2. And 38 divided by 2. So I know 2 times 50 gives me 100. Numbers the same, zeros okay, more on top, no need to stop. And let's see, 30 times 2 gives me 60. Because the placeholder moves it over place, and 2 times 3 is 6. Numbers the same, zeros okay, more on top, no need to stop. And that's 10 times 2 is 20. Numbers the same, zeros again. We add up our partial quotients. 0 plus 0 plus 0. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, then over here, 10 times 2 is 20. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros again. 9 times 2 is 18. Numbers the same, zeros again. Add our partial quotients and get 19. Now we need to check divisor times quotient plus remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since our remainder is 0, and our identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, we don't actually need to add it. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 10 is 20, plus another 10 is 30. 38 matches 38, our dividend up here. 180 matches 180, our dividend up here, so they both check. That means our numerator is definitely 19, and our denominator is definitely 90. Okay, now let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Still in trimester 1, week 9. Today is 10/1/19. And our fraction for today, 19/90. Let's go ahead and get out our number line. We did groups of 2. 2 is our greatest common factor. And so we have 18/90 we need to get down. Okay. And the greatest common factor for the, the equivalent fraction in lowest terms for that one was 1/5. We have a lot of equivalent fractions for that one. And then 19/90. There's no lines below it because this is our simplest form. It's our equivalent fraction in lowest terms. The only one that's lined up with it is above it. Okay, let's go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.